We will call the meeting to order at 7:04. Let's go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. If you'd like to join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, will you take roll call, please?
Yes, Jason?
Here.
Holly? Here. Steve?
Here.
Joel?
Here.
And the clerk's office is here.
Okay, so we will begin with the public hearing on the ADA compliance. This has to do with our community crossing grants that we hope to get. So the purpose of this ADA compliance meeting is we seek public input to help build a list of ADA challenges citizens face using town services, locations, programs. The public will have a chance to speak to the board during the public input period of the meeting. Please keep track of your questions so that you may ask during the appropriate time. Here's what the town is currently identified as troubled areas. No decisions during this. There will be no decisions made during this public hearing. Jason, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay. So what we tried to do before the meeting is go through and at least identify what was easily identified throughout the town, or at least what we could locate. And then at the end here, we'll ask for additional input if you guys have more to add. And we'll kind of go through these. Living around here, a lot of us will know these roads for us, but State Road 234 and Madison Street, South Main and West Madison, East Madison, where they meet, right down there. We don't have any curbs that are ADA compliant, so it would be curbs all the way around. We also have where the old railroad track ran through, there needs to be a sidewalk that connects the two. There's also a west side of the road here that is lacking the sidewalk or has it overgrown. South Vine Street and Madison Street, State Road 234. So again, we need ADA ramps on both the north and south sides of the road. Rosewood and State Road 234. Again, it has a sidewalk, but it doesn't have any ramps to get you from the sidewalk over the alley or over the road to the other side. One note, anything that has to do with State Road 234 is going to be the state will be in cooperation with us, or they will be doing the projects because it's their road to maintain. Let's see, west along 234. So, and it's there if you go looking. There's actually a sidewalk buried under the grass. It's just not maintained by the state, I guess. Well, but in between state, like I say, all the way from Rosewood, and then it kind of continues all the way down to the end of right across from Copenhagen Court, out there by the park is where the actual sidewalk ends. The idea here would be to also, if we're doing any kind of road work in this area, then we'll be allowed to use the community crossings grant to also fix the sidewalk areas if the road is adjacent to the area. So that's why this is also important with our Dave's company that's helping us do the community crossing grant. Anyway, so the idea there would be to possibly connect Kennard, the town of Kennard, to the developed Kennard Lake Estates. To do that, it would come down the north side of 234 if they continue the sidewalk. Again, it's the state that will be up to that or make that decision. One idea would be to then run the sidewalk on the west side of Brandon Drive. And then on the south side of Brandon Drive that curves there to the west. The reason being, and I just picked that just to throw it out there, it needs a sidewalk of some sort, and currently that right there doesn't have houses on it. so it wouldn't be taking anyone's property, at least up to this point. And the other thing to note here is a bus stop. So it is possible to, if you're doing work on the road and you're adding the sidewalks, if you need an ADA compliant bus stop, it is possible to have the pad laid at that time and get it covered within the grant, which would be helpful financially. The idea in this whole thing is I thought it would be a good idea to possibly have a bus stop there to help the new development. And then also down on South Martindale and South Main, where the other bus pickup is for the town. But as we keep moving down, our next road is going to be East Madison Street. So if you're looking east from South Main and you look down East Madison Street, there's a sidewalk on both sides. It's mostly covered up at this point. There's also alleys and driveways and stuff that will have to be negotiated with the rise and fall of those people coming in and out of their driveways and stuff. On farther down East Madison Street, it continues, so that's just to show you that it does keep going. South Main Street corridor. So this is or was on our old plan to be repaved soon. So South Main Street from Madison Street south. So this is just kind of an overall picture. The left-hand sidewalk really looks looks decent compared to the west side there going down South Main. You can see that even when we run into the alleys, we still have the issue with no wheelchair accessibility to get from one side to the other. This is a lot due with the build-up of the alley, and it's just not properly put into the ADA compliant, I guess, with the sidewalks there. Moving on down, when we get all the way down to Martindale and South Main, on the left-hand side, which would be the north side, is where the kids in the bus area would be the pickup for the south side. And so that would be a potential area that we could maybe put an ADA compliant bus stop platform there. And then on the right-hand side, you can see there's probably about a foot drop off from the road down into a, looks pretty swampy at this point in this picture, but yeah, when it gets, when there's a lot of rain, it fills up with water. So that's obviously not a very safe spot to try to navigate. Going on down, we have kind of the same issue on South Vine Street. We have broken sidewalk tiles. We have overgrown sidewalk tiles. Each alley, or what we're looking at here, is actually Dewey Street. It, you know, again, goes up and over the street and then back down. So, and these arrows are a little exaggerated, but just to get you the idea. Same way with the alley that then goes on the north side of the park. And then we're close to the end here. So at the very end of South Vine Street, we do have the need for the correct kind of curves at the Martindale and South Vine Street there, so to allow the access through to the other side of the sidewalk that is again overgrown and cracked. South Vine Railroad Street, the same deal, up and down. There's no easy access for wheelchair. North and South Vine, the link between, so between 234 and Madison Street, there is a sidewalk there. It's just covered again. Here's another picture of Rosewood to Sampson, overgrown sidewalk. It's under the grass, it's just not accessible. Sampson Street, both sides, you need the curbs, and this is kind of an elevated street. So there's gonna have to be some dirt work around the curbs to get them to be level or accessible. And again, these things like Sampson Street and the Rosewood that we just talked about, these are on 234, so they should be a state, should be the state's responsibility. Again, this is Sampson Street all the way down to Kennard Lake Estates, overgrown sidewalk. Let's see. Now, I found this was surprising to me. Actually, this one wasn't, the next one will be. So between Plum Street, or on Plum Street between 234 and North Vine Street, we do have a sidewalk on the north side of the road there. It's covered up, as you see. But that was a connection at one point between Main Street and Vine Street. Most of the north side did get new sidewalks back when we had the original grant in the 90s, I think it was. Or at least the north, 2000 sidewalk to school, I think it was called, or something like that. So at one point, the business at the end of the road here was a school, and so they were able to get a grant that replaced most of the sidewalks. But for some reason, this stretch wasn't replaced. Everything south of it is, and the other side is, but this didn't get.
That was in better shape at the time.
Okay.
And by the time they did the environmental study and stuff like that, there wasn't enough money to actually do the sidewalks.
Okay, so there's one spot up on the north side that we found. And we will, at the end of this, we're gonna ask for input from the public, so if there's other ones, we're gonna take note of them. Building issues that I could think of here at the town hall. The main door does not have an automatic opener, which would be helpful. It's not a law that is required, but it would be helpful, I'm sure, to anyone trying to get in that door. The door closer is worn out, so it slams when you go through. So that could be a issue if you're on crutches or in a wheelchair. The ramp railings are rusted, which we've talked about in past meetings. The lighting in here needs to be diffused. It's too bright if you have everything on. And that's actually a ADA compliant thing that we can deal with if we get the right kind of grants. Rentals, the other thing, so the rentals, when I got into thinking of that, it went into having a handrail in the bathroom, having sinks to the level that a wheelchair person in a wheelchair can access. So there's certain ADA things that we would need to change here in the town hall that we'll need to work on.
Okay.
So just to say, you know.
It does
Does it
work
have,
for me.
okay, does it have a handle,
And by the toilet, there's a handle.
okay, I didn't know, but things like that.
There probably could be a grab bar, like by the door, when you're going out, if people can't walk well.
Is there anything by the sink to hold?
Yeah.
Okay,
And, but the seating height is fine with me in this rolling chair. It's a little high, but it's not that high.
okay.
But the handrails, yeah.
I did, with all this, I know one of the things is like, there's just policies and rules, you know,
Right.
certain 36 inches or what, you know, which have to do, so.
I think when they built this place,
Mhm.
they were aware enough, it was, ADA wasn't a law yet, but they went ahead and put the ramp in, which is a bad ramp for a wheelchair, but they didn't know
Yeah,
better than,
is it too much of an angle?
it's too much of an angle and the platform's not big enough, so you have to stop on the angle and open the door, and then your wheelchair would be going backwards down the ramp.
Okay,
But the automatic opener would fix that.
Yeah.
But I think they probably made that sink lower.
Mhm.
And it's maybe not quite as low, but it's not as high as a regular sink.
okay. Okay, and I did look right past this. Did you guys have anything to add, board-wise on that?
No.
I had one thing, up on Main Street, right past 234, there is a sidewalk, and maybe you said that, but I thought you were saying it needed to be replaced. It's another under the grass
Where's
sidewalk,
it at, Main Street?
from 234 up to,
It was both sides need to be done. Goods has a semi, like a halfway sidewalk up to the
Yeah.
railroad track. And then this side over here did have, an overgrown one that, again, the
right,
kind of breaks
yeah,
there.
but it is there.
Yep.
On the other side, there never was a sidewalk past.
I wondered, yeah.
Yeah,
It did have.
because it was the filling station and the asphalt was clear out to there.
Did you guys have anything to add with the building, ADA for the building?
No, I didn't.
Colin? Park ideas, when we're talking to people about, engineers and all that sort of stuff, just to keep it in mind. It would be nice to have ADA accessible routes, from the street or parking into the parks. And then short routes to each feature so that they could, use each thing that we have out there. Needs to be ADA compliant. Let's see, add inclusive play options, ground level pieces, adaptive swings, things like that. Let's see, slip resistant surfaces, you know, wants everything to be stable and level and not, even, you know what I mean? So it could be rolled across. Picnic seating, they want you to have at least one, roll up, around like your collection of picnic seats. Did you guys have any other thoughts about ADA in the park.
There need to be some posts every once in a while on the pathways, so people that don't walk well have something to hold on to.
Okay,
That, you know, are posts that stick up, but they don't necessarily connect to something. And some, benches along the way in case people get too tired, they can sit down.
okay. All right.
So there were benches along the trail.
I'm not talking about the trail,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking about like between the venues and the parking.
Just
Oh, right, right.
For stops.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Did you guys have anything else for parks?
No.
Okay.
No,
Let's see, and just to throw out, road or streets that do not have a sidewalk currently. So these would be like a phase 2 or later on type things. Hinshaw Street, Martindale, Washington, Sampson, Rosewood, East Street, Dewey Street. Dewey Streets, might be key here if it's on our inventory as a street. Because if that street gets worked on, then it would make it eligible for the sidewalk in the ADA. So would South Vine, so would Grover Street and South Main Street and Brandon's, you know, all those that we talked about too.
There was something in the sidewalk grant that didn't have money to happen, but it was to create a sidewalk from Sampson up through, you know, that's a right of way, but it's grass. Up through there to the edge of Kennard Lake Estates. And then they can build a sidewalk to attach so that people that live there can walk into the main part of town.
Yeah, and that's what I think we need to connect it to.
Yeah.
Let's see, so Brandon Drive, my opinion, I prefer the sidewalk to be on the south and west sides to avoid, like I say, the houses and stuff that's already there. And then it would turn, west to Lake Drive. There'd be a corner at Lake Drive, an ADA compliant corner. And then, it would continue up Lake Drive there. Proposed sidewalk that would go across Brandon Drive, so right there at the entrance of Kennard Lake Estates, to have that be the crossing point to reach over to the basketball court area. Just ideas, you know, and again, this is just thinking how people can access the park if
So
there's
could you
not a
add that
sidewalk.
thing about the sidewalk from Sampson to?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because I think that this one in particular to me is important because if it's down 234, it should be the state's money.
Right, yeah, right,
So
and I
that's-
know
yeah.
that, but it'd be nice to have people, that'll incorporate them as part of the town.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see, potential new sidewalk between South Vine Street and South Main Street, possibly along the north side or Dewey Street, you know, depending on the way that we have to use these grants is it has to be on our inventory, the street needs to be. And if Dewey Street has a name like that, I would imagine it probably is on the inventory. And then the other alley though doesn't have a name, so it may not be, so that might be our determination on
yeah,
that.
that would be creative too.
Is there anything you guys want to add about new roads or anything? No.
nope.
Yeah, well, we need to have it named, from over here where, East Street goes south of Rod, in front of Tony Ritchie's house. He actually has an address that says Broad Street. And if a, ambulance needed to find him, they couldn't.
Okay,
So, and I've already spoken to Dave about it, so that alley here, does go south and it turns next to Chrissy Beaver's house. So that just needs to be named a street on, down and around. It doesn't necessarily have to be paved more, but it has to be a
does it
street.
need to be a street or can it be an alley with a name?
Well, it is a street. It always was part of
Okay,
the street.
okay. Would be south.
Yeah, but something named so he can have an address on East Street,
Yeah.
South East Street.
We'll do it, let's talk about that in new business or something, so
Okay.
we'll get through this, we'll worry about that. Funding and grants, we're looking at using the community crossing, which we've used before. With our town, from what I can tell, it should be an 80-20 match, since we're under 10,000 people. But Dave will help us through that. And then again, the bus stop pads and stuff, it can only be used if we are doing the road work to improve the road. So that's the only way we could add something like that, either the sidewalks or the bus pads. Let's see. It is possible if we're doing the streets, we can replace the street names like the signs with larger, more easily seen, street names. And then if there's anybody from the public that would like to add some things to our list, please, feel free to step to the podium and let us have it. Nothing. Did you have anything to add, Mike, or anything? No.
Right.
Did you have anything you wanted to add, sir? Okay. And so that's all I had for that. See.
Okay, all right, if that's everything, we will conclude that ADA compliance public hearing.
What time is it?
It is 7:25.